Swiss AI optimization company focusing on empowering e-commerce businesses. Although I currently specialize in Gen AI, or more specifically LLMs, this is not the first job where I had the opportunity to use AI, and my previous experience includes research, marketing mix modeling, media spend optimization, automation of media monitoring, supply chain optimization, and lately also building LLM-based data analysis chatbots that are pretty much what got me my current job. So before diving in, a couple of words about Boxalino. So as I said, it's a Swiss AI optimization company that focuses on empowering e-commerce businesses. And our platform, Winning Interactions.ai, offers a holistic data warehouse ecosystem that provides a foundation for leveraging real-time analytics, as well as various AI optimizations, including but not limited to optimizing product search, personalized recommendations, as well as improving user experience. If you run an e-commerce business and this sounds like something you need, I encourage you to approach me after the session and let's discuss how we can help each other out. A couple of more words about Interventure, which is an awesome crew that initially introduced me to Boxalino. So they're basically a nearshoring company that specializes in building dedicated tech teams for clients in need of software development expertise. And they have 3 hubs based in Serbia, in Belgrade, Lehner Versand, and they enable businesses to seamlessly scale their development capabilities by integrating skilled tech professionals as an extension of their clients' team. If this sounds like something you need, I encourage you to contact them, and if you're looking for an awesome new job, I also encourage you to look at the open positions that they have at interventure.teamtailor.com/jobs. Okay, so since all 3 projects that I will be talking about today basically revolve around LLMs, I thought it would be appropriate to say a few words about them, although I'm absolutely certain that everybody in the audience couldn't escape either reading or hearing about them in the past 2 years or actively using them privately or at work. So the LLMs represent a relatively new class of AI, capable of processing, analyzing, and generating textual, and as of recently also multimodal content. They entered, although they have been developed for quite some time, they entered the mainstream around 2 years ago with the launch of ChatGPT, that chatbot that we all know and love, and since then their applications have exploded. They're now used in a wide variety of industries for automating customer support, over helping software developers to applicate easily, all the way up to teaching math and generating all kinds of content, from SEO text to poetry and novels, and I hear also that the kids are using it to write their homeworks, something that the teachers do not really approve. So the big tech companies have recognized the potential of LLMs, and currently there is a big number of different LLMs offered in the market, from OpenAI's family of models, where the most powerful ones are GPT-4o and O1, more colloquially known as Strawberry, over Google's Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, and many other open source models that you can find on the market. The key thing to know here is that they're not really equally capable, and that there is no universal scale to determine who is the winner. Some are better at some tasks, the other are better at other tasks. So at Boxalino, the philosophy that we follow is that we do not get married to any particular LLM API provider, and we simply use the model that brings the most value to our customer in a concrete context that we're using it for. Okay, so basically the 3 projects that we will be dealing with today, Gen AI content creation that we're working on with Lehner Versand and PerfectHair, BIM classification that we're working specifically with Lehner Versand, as well as streamlining user experience on the renovero platform, basically helping users more easily post their renovation project descriptions. So moving on to Gen AI content creation, as I said, this is a project that we're working on with Lehner Versand and PerfectHair, although with slightly different initial implementation priorities. With Lehner Versand, we are focusing on primarily automating SEO writing and customized product descriptions, while with PerfectHair, we are focusing on the entire content creation workflow right from the start, which is on the long term basically aspects of generation, but we're also actively working on making the system capable of generating images and videos reliably, and therefore automating the visual content creation as well. How does it work underneath the hood? Well, the process pretty much starts the same as it would with your human creative team. First thing that we do is we gather all the relevant campaign documentation. So we brief, the description of the target audience, preferred content types, brand guidelines, things like that. So the LLM reads it, analyzes it, and writes it in a structured way in the campaign master table. From the campaign master table, the LLM takes this structured information and uses it to both generate a list of individual content pieces that should be created, as well as prompt parameters that will control the generation process. It writes them in the content entry table where they are ready to be used in a prompt. The prompt templates itself are in the account settings table. They're taken from there, filled with the prompt parameters, and if applicable, and then further enriched with the historical examples of already created similar content, both to enable retrieval augmented generation and to overall improve the quality of the generated content by allowing us to use certain prompt engineering techniques like few-shot prompting and so. Now, when the content is generated, and the point here is to generate it at scale, it's written back to the content entry table where the users can basically evaluate it, edit it, and either validate it for publication or demand that it is regenerated if they deem that the LLM has underperformed in some way. This is of course not the only place where the user can intervene in the process, and they can do so at every, basically every point in the diagram that is marked by action. So when the campaign information is written into the campaign master table, when the prompt parameters are written into the content entry table, as well as when the actual content is written there as well. And they always have a very transparent access to the prompt templates that they're using, which we are basically developing with them, but from our experience, they kind of tend to prefer to outsource this part of the work to us. Okay, now let's take a short look at how the actual app sheet looks like. So it's just a more user-friendly version of Excel that's, sorry, you're not seeing apps. Yeah, the key idea here is that very easily you get an interface that it's ready out of the box, and you will have to spend months developing it. And so this is a view of the content entry table that you saw in the diagram, and it offers a sort of an overview of the topic pages that were created for PerfectHair. We see some campaign management parameters like the date range in which the content could be active, the content type, then we see the actual prompt parameters, so what the content should be about, and finally on the right side of the table we also see the actual generated elements. If for example we click on one of them, let's say pedicure, we will get this more detailed view that the users can use to basically inspect all the content elements, inspect what is behind the retrieval augmented generation, and either edit it if they like very easily, or either invalidate it and demand generation, or validate it for publishing and production. So an example of how the actual content looks when it is finished. This is one of the topic pages that were created for Lehner Versand. As you can see, it's about a poster. Now, for those of you who are not SEO aficionados, a quick explanation. The point of this page is to cover what is known as an SEO hole. So basically, a search term that is usually Googled in relation to your products, but that you don't have an SEO optimized page. Because typically you will have a page dedicated to a product category, which is kitchen appliances, but no one really Googles kitchen appliances. They Google a toaster or a fridge or mixer, stuff like that. So this is a type of page that covers that. And we can see that it was, all of the elements there were generated by the LLM in the system. We can see that it was generated both of the languages it should have been generated. We see this teaser element generated by the dynamic selection of links, because appearing high in Google search results is not only about the keywords that you use, but also about the links that are present on the page. And these were actually chosen by the vector search, which relies on OpenAI's embedding API, but this is probably a topic for another day. And the selection of products was also done using vector search. And finally, we have the actual SEO text that is structured as a sort of a guide of how to buy the right toaster for your needs, contains all the relevant keywords, as well as these links that don't seem jammed into it just for the purposes of SEO, but kind of naturally flow from the topic of the actual article. Okay, so going back to the presentation. Next up, we have the PIM classification use case that we'll be speaking about. So this is a project that we are specifically developing for Lehner Versand, and it's aimed at automating their current PIM system migration and subsequent maintenance. For those of you who do not know what a PIM is, it's basically a product information management system, basically a big database of all of the products that your e-commerce sells, as well as a structured way to keep track of all of the attributes that of the products that you're selling. So like the resolution of the TV you're selling, the fuel that your lawnmower uses, things like that. And it's very important to have it represented and stored accurately, because many of the functionalities, both in terms of personalization and recommendation and search optimization, really rely on these attributes. So the problem is that anyone who's ever dealt with manual PIM attributes classification knows that it is a major pain in the butt. Typically, you would have to go through pages and pages of unstructured documents, and even then you might not find some very obscure attribute of a product that you're trying to classify. You'd have to Google, and in the end, you might come with empty cans without any actual result. And in the case of Lehner Versand, you have to do that for each of the, let's say, a couple of tens of attributes for a product, and for each of the 100,000 products that they have. So this was basically a nightmare for the teams that were supposed to be doing it, and they welcomed us very, very openly, hoping that we would help them automate it. So the main advantage of the system is extracting product attribute information from large volumes of unstructured textual and visual data, including product descriptions, PDFs, Word documents, and pictures. And if all else fails, we can also add the internet into the equation, and we can automatically crawl and scrape the information to appropriately classify the product. So based on the process, the manual process that they explained to us, it's expected that the system will basically increase the efficiency of the human expert by a factor of at least 10. And as with the previous project, our philosophy that the user is always in full control over the system, we can evaluate, edit, and regenerate the system outputs whenever they deem necessary via a deep sheet. The system is also designed to learn from the human feedback and basically get better at its task the more it gets used. How does it work underneath the code? Well, it's a lot less complicated than the previous one. First, we gather all of the information that we can. So from the old product information management system, we gather the old product information that's available. We gather all of the product documentation that we can, and very importantly, we get the target classification schema. That is the list and the explanations of the attributes that are yet to be classified. So basically the description of the task for the LLM. Finally, if all else fails, we also have the internet at our disposal. So the LLM takes all of this information in, analyzes it, makes the classification of the particular attribute, and then writes it into the validation admin, where human experts edit and validate it, and basically, if they see it fit, they publish it into the PIM. And basically, these pairs this is open applied with overclothing, jackets, and stuff like that. And that's a product group, like a small batch that was classified. And we see that one of the products has already been validated. If we click on it, we will see all of the attributes that it was tasked with classifying, as well as all of the values that the LLM assigned it. And if we pay attention to the Pflegehinweise, which is like instructions for caring about the product, and you should clean it, wash it in the washing machine and stuff like that, and look at the source information, we will see that it is actually nowhere to be found. But no worries, if you basically provide the LLM with a JPEG or PNG rendering of this PDF, you will see that it will be absolutely capable of recognizing the meaning of these icons and actually, like translating it into the attribute information. Okay, so going back. So now it's about project description generation. So this is a project that we've done with renovero.ch, which is a platform, a Swiss platform, that aims to connect people in need of certain home renovations with the experts or the craftspeople who are both willing and capable of doing it. So what we use the LLM to do is basically simplify and streamline the process of project description. The problem that Renovero had is that their existing process was very complex and they had a high attrition. The user had to go through this very outdated and very blown up fixed project category 3. They had to choose the right category. They would have to answer these long essay questions for no need whatsoever. So I mean, if you need half an hour to basically ask someone to replace your tiles in the bathroom, you're probably just going to call them and just to drop the whole thing altogether. So we knew that this process had to go, and what we did is that we basically said, we're just going to completely disregard your old category 3, and we're going to take your historical project descriptions, the ones that actually got the offer, so not the silly or useless ones, and then we use hierarchical clustering to see how the project will naturally be grouped together. And then for each of the output clusters, we had the LLM create a simple question template that was aimed at extracting all of the required information that the craftsperson actually needs in order to give the offer for the project. And then when the user went to the platform and got these questions, they would provide the answer, and then the LLM will basically be used to generate an appropriate project description, both streamlining user experience and ensuring that the craftspeople receive all of the required project information, which was also a problem. And thus, we both reduced the user attrition rate as well as increased the probability of a proper user-craftsperson match. And I mean, the current result is that the average time for making a project went from something like 20 minutes up to less than 5. So I would say it's a notable improvement in user experience. Okay, so how does it work underneath the hood? Well, this part I already explained. We used the embedding API to create vector representations of the historical project descriptions. We used the hierarchical clustering algorithm to cluster them. We basically then had the LLM generate like these question templates. And then we go to the part that actually represents the user experience on Renovero's website. But instead of zigzagging on this diagram, I think and basically we get a very succinct but very information-rich project description that we can further edit in order to cover the things that the LLM failed to do so, but typically this already covers basically everything. Okay, so I mean, these are the key projects that I wanted to present, but in the meanwhile, since I actually pitched this topic to the data science conference organizers, we also kind of finished something called DI with AI, so I'll just take another 3 minutes to speak a bit about that if no one has anything on this. Okay, anyway, it's going to be launched soon. It's an awesome LLM-based agent and it automates your BI report. Thank you very much for your attention.